Meetings.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'd like to bring this meeting of Committee of the Whole together. It's about 4:04 and it's a cloudy, June 25th, Tuesday. Could you please call the roll?
Allen,
Present by remote if allowed.
Bates, Berman, Doherty,
Doherty here.
Davis, Ford, Gums, Iqbal, Juby,
You're here.
Kenyon,
Yes, I'm here.
Caius,
Vice President.
Lewis,
Who's here?
Linder,
Linda present.
Molina, Roth,
Roth here.
Sanchez, Silva,
Silva is here.
Strathman, Surges,
Surges via remote if allowed.
Carver,
Carver's here.
Tepe, Williams,
Williams present remote.
Young, Pirog,
Kirog is here.
an in-person quorum.
Do not have an in-person quorum. May I have your permission to allow Mr. Surges, Mr. Williams, Dr. Silva,
Mr. Linder.
Doherty,
Technically, you can't because you don't have a quorum. and-
just to bring him in, just, all right, everybody, thank you
And
for
they
that
can-
clarification. Mr. Surges, Mr. Williams, Dr. Silva, Mr. Doherty, Mr. Linder, and Mrs. Allen, you're all welcome.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Deb, you are not here, but you can proudly lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you so much. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, for the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You're gonna have to practice this more. Gee, It's the remote people. Timing thing. Sound system.
Did that make us warm?
No. Well, yeah, she's scoring. Need three more.
1, 2,
And
8, 9, 10. No, not quite yet. Not quite yet. So we will not be able to approve the minutes, so we will push those back off. And then we will have probably an annual approval of minutes. By the time we get a quorum in here. This one speaker who has requested to speak is Kathy Flesberg here. Kathy is not here. I do not see her. So we'll continue on. This is going to be a pretty interesting presentation. We have two presidents of two of our community colleges here. We have our director of our assistant superintendent, I should say, and superintendent of Regional Office of Education here as well, to speak with us about what their schools are doing to promote job training. Now, we have talked a lot about that with our job development committee. We've talked a lot about this, an awful lot about our newly established economic development organization. It's fledgling opportunity right now. And I thought it was important to reach out to our colleges and of course to our regional superintendent of schools to find out what they are doing to train a new workforce for us. This is going to be very important for all of us as we start looking at developing companies and reaching out to our economic opportunities, because they're going to be asking us what our universities, what our colleges, and what our high schools are doing to provide the next generation for our workforce. So with many baby boomers, we have quite a few baby boomers here in Kane County. Many of us have continued to work and will continue to work because we like to hold on to things. But when that time comes, we are going to need a trained workforce behind us who will be able to lead and take up the mantle and do it effectively. And these people represent where that training is going to be coming from and giving them the opportunity to do so. So I think you're going to find this very interesting, very informative, and very important for all of us. And they represent, between the three entities, almost every family here in Kane County from one way or another. So with that, we'll have it'll be an interesting, just free conversation. We'll have them do their presentation one at a time. If you'd like to ask any questions of any of the speakers, please feel free to do so at the end, and we'll go on to our next speaker, and then we can make comments, and I'm sure there'll be comments made at the end of all of this as well. So sit back and relax, and let's hear what our knowledgeable speakers are going to be presenting. We do have some closed session minutes, which we're not going to be able to do anything with, so you're excused. Thank you for coming. Eventually we'll get there. Thank you. Thank you so much. You're welcome to stay and listen.
Your humor is great. Your humor.
So why don't we start out with Dr. Sam?
Hey, good afternoon, and thank you for the opportunity to speak with you. Yes, the conversations today are going to be interesting, and I wish I could stay for everything, but I have a slight back problem and a physical therapy scheduled. So when I walk out, it has nothing to do with anyone here. I would like to start by introducing a couple of people that I have here with me. We have the Vice Chair of our Board of Trustees, Ms. Jennifer Rakel here. And we have the Secretary to our Board, Trustee Nowak here this afternoon. And I'll have one more person who will be introduced as part of our speaking session. If we didn't learn anything from the pandemic, we certainly heard and we know about the disruptions that we've had with supply chain. Everyone knows about that. And even before that, we had some lessons we knew about, and I'll share a couple of them with you. The supply chain disruptions meant that there were so many things being manufactured overseas and being brought here. And because of the disruptions, many companies are coming back to the United States. Fortunately, before that, even there was that trend of bringing manufacturing back. And we could see it on our campuses, that was the trend. A little quick history. Before the pandemic, we knew how enrollment will trend based on the economy. Whenever the economy was bad, more people came to us. And good economy, fewer people came to us. So during the Great Recession, almost every community college in the country and some four-year universities had a record enrollment. ECC were at 12,500. And after the Great Recession, we started declining like all colleges. However, for us, around 2016, 2017, 2018, we started going up. And that was in the career areas. More and more students were coming in for career programs. Unfortunately, we could not meet the demand. We had waiting lists for many students going to the career program. So you look at the irony, enrollment going down generally, but we had students on waiting lists. And take welding, for example. We have welding classes from morning till 10 p.m., Monday through Saturday. And they were even begging for me to get some dispensation from the Pope to have classes on Sunday. Said, no, we wouldn't do Sunday classes. But that was how difficult it was for us. And we decided to respond to that need. So I will call in Dr. Kathy Taylor, who is the dean for the areas covering our career programs, to tell you how we responded to that peak demand. And then I'll come back and talk about the finances, how we've been able to handle the financial portion. Dr. Taylor?
And Doctor, I would just have you hold on a second. We have a board member who's raised their hand. Mr. Sturgis, can I help you?
Madam Chair, I come to you today from my office, sitting here with one of my interns. I am a ECC graduate before I went on for my undergraduate studies and master's hours. And the young lady I have with me went to Dundee Crown High School. She was an intern with us. She just finished up at ECC and will be going to DePaul in the fall. And so I am a huge cheer section for Elgin Community College. Olivia, say hello.
Hello.
We
Hi,
just
Olivia.
want to give a shout out to everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. There are Spartans all over the place.
There we go.
Successful Spartans.
Sorry.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you. Again, my name is Kathy Taylor, and I'm the Dean of the Sustainability, Business, and Career Technologies Division at Elgin Community College. That is the division that oversees most, not all, of the career tech education programs. So health professions is not in our division. However, the manufacturing programs are. And as a result of that, we are at this point where we are starting, sorry about that. We are starting to build a manufacturing and technology center. Dr. Sam is absolutely correct. Enrollment is one of those areas in which we are seeing an increased demand, and particularly for welding, but we're starting to see that demand in some of our other programs as well. So about 6 years ago, I went to Dr. Sam and I also went to the vice president and I said, we can't find anywhere to put additional students. I don't have enough classrooms. We had companies that were donating equipment to us. This is really good equipment that would give us an opportunity to show some of the advanced technology that's happening in manufacturing. We had nowhere to put it. We also needed to develop new courses and training because keep in mind, every career tech education program is aligned with industry need. So if we're not relevant to what the industry is looking for, then what is our purpose? And then secondly, or lastly, I should say, we noticed that there is, everybody notices there is a middle skills gap. There are people in our community and around the state of Illinois and other manufacturing areas whereby you don't necessarily need a 4-year degree, but a 2-year degree or a certificate or an industry credential will get you a good paying job. And so with that being said, we looked at the opportunity, we did a lot of investigation and exploring, and we said, we need more space. We need more space to do all of that. And so in September, we are breaking ground on a 150,000 square foot facility at the corner of McLean and Spartan Drive in Elgin. We will be able to serve more students. We will be able to obtain new equipment and up-to-date equipment. We'll also be able to expand our programs. Pipe welding is another area that we're trying to move into, as well as automation in our manufacturing program, which includes robotics and renewable energy. And we're also looking for an opportunity to train the next generation of manufacturing workers for our community. So keep in mind, we're very closely aligned with our workforce development division and helping to provide not just the education, but the training, upskilling, reskilling that we need to make sure that our community members are well-versed and educated and trained for the new technology that's coming about. So the floor plan looks like this, and I know it's kind of small to see, but it will be a 2-story building. The floor plan that you see on the left side of the screen, that's where all of the labs and instruction will take place. So in the building will be not just welding, but manufacturing, maintenance technology, and HVAC and energy management and renewable energy. So those 4 programs will be in the building. What you're looking at on the left-hand side is approximately 55,000 square feet of space. That's almost a third of the building. What we have currently in the building we're in right now is only 17,000 square feet of lab space and instructional space. So we are growing exponentially with this. The rest of the space in the building obviously is classrooms and administrative offices and so forth. And so what I want to do now is just give you a taste, if you will, of what the building will look like once we open up. And the building exterior, you'll see this is a view of looking at the building if you're on Spartan Drive heading east towards McLean. You'll see the entrance to the building. And then the photos on the bottom are daytime and nighttime visuals of the building if you're coming off of McLean and turning right onto Spartan Drive. And then more visuals of the outside of the building. If you look at the lower left-hand photo, the renewable energy program, we currently have a storage container that's sitting on our campus right now. We just hired 2 years ago a new instructor in our HVAC program who is an expert, if you will, in renewable energy and energy management. He's taking that storage container and he's going to turn it into a solar array. Now, I should back up and say the students are going to turn it into a solar array. But as a result of that, the students will be able to download data from the solar panels and be able to learn, if you will, experiential learning on how to collect data from solar. So we're very, very excited about that. You may see that take shape before the building opens, because like I said, the storage container is already on campus. These next images I'm going to show you are the interior of the building. So starting with the lobby and then moving down into the common space areas of the building. The photo on your upper right-hand side, if you can look kind of to your left, you see an image of the history of manufacturing in Elgin. And we are being very intentional about showing where we've come from to where we are going in terms of all of this automation and robotics and things of that nature. And so students will have an opportunity to gather in this area. We'll also have opportunity to bring middle school students onto campus, high school students onto campus, and hold a session and talk with them about the new manufacturing. It's not the dirty manufacturing that some of us remember. I worked in manufacturing for a short time, but it's now clean. The floors are shiny and polished. And there's all this robotics and automation, as well as advanced technology that is taking place in manufacturing. So now we're going to move into the classrooms and instructional lab space. And again, a lot more room for us to expand these programs. The photos that you see here are the one on the bottom left. We want to make sure we have visibility into all of the lab spaces. So no matter where you are in the building, you'll be able to look down into the lab to see what students are doing, how that program is being run. So in this particular instance, you see opportunity to look into the manufacturing space. And then the next, again, very similar, looking down into the maintenance technology area of, and that's one of our growing programs as well. I talked about welding, but maintenance technology is in demand for us. We just met with an employer today before I came here to talk about sending apprentices to Elgin Community College to train them on the machines that we have. So with all of that being said, we are trying to poise our college to be an opportunity for people to gain a better life, to get an education, and to live up to our motto, which is changing lives through learning. And so our groundbreaking, thank you, is anticipated. Well, groundbreaking is September 2024. That is not an anticipated date. However, the anticipated occupancy is August of 2026. So with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Dr. Sam to talk about how we realized these goals. Thank you.
Okay, let me expand a little bit on what she said about the pictures that you see in the building. It's going to be a representation of all the manufacturing within our district. It's not going to be only Elgin. When you come in there, you have a feel of our district, the types of manufacturing entities that we have. $27 million has been earmarked by Elgin Community College. Our board over the years has scrolled some money aside for this project because it recognized long ago that this was critical for us. And then $28 million has been appropriated by the state. What we did was to bring all of our state representatives and senators to campus to see firsthand the challenges that we've been facing on campus. In fact, and this is embarrassing to say, but we have to say it, there was a time that we were offering 2 classes simultaneously in the same room because the demand was there and we had nowhere else to put them. And some of our representatives saw this. And so they worked very hard to make sure that this money was appropriated for us. So if you run into Senator Castro, Senator DeWitt, Representative Moeller, and Representative Crespo, please thank them for us because all of our representatives and senators worked very hard for us to secure the 28 million, but these were the 4 lead people who helped us to get that. And then the board is now in the process of getting alternative revenue sources for bonds to be able to complete this project. The whole project is about 80 million. And so all of a sudden, part of the reason we are here is to let you know that that kind of facility is coming into this community, that you don't wake up one morning and drive by and say, what in the world is happening here? It's an $80 million facility. The money listed here is in excess of that, and it's because there will be domino impact. We will need to retrofit the building that we are currently in for other purposes, and then other areas in the college that need renovations. So that's why we wanted to share this with you. Thank you, and I'm going to stop there and see if you have any questions for us.
Are there any questions for Dr. Song?
Mr. Roth here. When completed, how many students will be able to put through the program?
Well, that is the most growing areas in the first place. We'll
Right.
be able to increase the number of people that we have at the college. As I said, between 2016 and 2019, 2020, that was the only area growing.
Right.
And so we anticipate that we will be able to produce more students than ever before for our various industries. One of the things that many companies ask me about is to send them welders and HVAC individuals, and we are not able to meet the demand. I don't have exactly the number, but I know that these are the fields that are not going to diminish in the years to come. They are only going to grow, and our ability to offer these programs will enable us to respond effectively to the needs of our community.
Well, I mean, what would be the capacity? Can we get 100 students through a year or 100,000?
Well, we wish we could do 100,000, but she can give some more details. Yes.
I'd love to be able to do 100,000, but no. I would say that, you know, a lot of this is built on demand, but to your point, yes, we will be able to run more sections. So if you think about 16 students per section, because I have to do it from a safety standpoint, ratio of instructors to students. So if I'm running 4 sections, let's say, of welding, that's 16 more students than I have right now. Oh, I'm sorry, that's more students than I have right now. As Dr. Sam just mentioned, we're only able to do 2 classes at a time. So yes.
Thank you.
And we get the opportunity to work with more school districts because they have needs. So it will not be only ECC direct students, but students still in high school that want to study these programs.
Mr. Doherty, you have your hand up.
Thank you. How many students are going to help build the new building?
How many students? I don't know that, but I can tell you that all the employees, the people who are going to build, are within our district. And so this is very district centric. And there will be some students who will participate in the solar portion of it. And they will learn, and then they will build more buildings and other industries in our community. About 87% of our students in the long run end up being in our community. So we are training the workforce of today and tomorrow and years to come. 87% stay within our geographic area.
It's fantastic. That is.
Yeah, but
fantastic.
building the building requires a bunch of welding and stuff like that. Are you going to indoctrinate some of the students into that?
Well, I would assume that some of the companies, the contractors, will be able to utilize either recent student graduates, or some of the current students that may be able to work with them. That will be left to them.
Yeah, that'd be great if they could intern your current students so we can get them rolling faster too.
Yes.
Thank you.
Mr. Iqbal.
Yeah, Madam Chair, Dr. Sen, thank you very much for coming. My question is, what do you mean by, on this slide, You said the revenue bonds will be for new manufacturing building and the backfill of vacated building. What is the
Yes.
backfill of vacated building?
We are now in a 60,000 square foot building, totally inadequate. We are constructing a 150,000 square foot building. So we have to retrofit that old building for other purposes. And so we'll move, let's say, IT into that area. And then where IT is on campus today could be renovated for student services. With our programs that are also growing and we don't have space for them. So it's not only this building is going to allow us to move other programs around.
Second question, Dr. Sam, do you have a advisory council that advises you what kind of manufacturing?
Absolutely, and I want Dean to come and talk a little bit about it because she works very closely with that.
Yes, each one of the programs that I mentioned earlier has an advisory committee, of which we are made up of employers in those particular areas. And those employers help to inform the curriculum that we offer in our program. So for instance, if an employer tells us that, welding is moving towards more automation or robotics, then that's something that we as a college have to consider and pull that into our curriculum. But not only that, but find the equipment to be able to deliver on it. One of the other things I want to mention too, in all of our career tech education programs that I'm talking about here, we have what's called an 80-20 split. 80% of the time, students are in the lab working on these machines. 20% of the time, they're in the classroom getting lecture. So we focus heavily on hands-on training, experiential learning.
Thank you.
Very good.
And to add to that, all the career programs we have on campus have advisory committees that respond to the need. And the most recent demand or request we had was from the local hospitals. They said because of COVID, there's a need for respiratory care professionals for many years to come. And we've responded very quickly to it. We've done everything. Our accreditation of the program has been delayed a little bit. We have the director in place. We have the faculty member in place. January, we will have the first group of students that will be trained in respiratory care to serve our local hospitals.
Very good. Very good. This is very good. Anita, do you have any comments on this since you chair the Jobs Committee? I don't like to put you on the spot.
No, I was just intently listening and from the jobs point of view, we obviously talk about this every single month and both ECC and Wabansie have really stepped up to this challenge. And it's hard for you guys to plan for jobs that don't even exist yet. So
Yes.
we totally understand that. And that's why it's so important that the manufacturers and the people that are going to, get these students, that they're heavily involved so they can tell you what trends they're seeing. We were at a economic development conference, 3 of us from our jobs committee on Thursday and Friday. One of the companies that was there is a German company. They're bringing some stuff back to the States. And one of the problems that they said they're having is they want to partnership with the community colleges. And they said, hey, can you guys help us get those connections? And we said, absolutely. Because it's really going to be key to getting this stuff on board quickly because these are jobs that are existing now. So I applaud everything you're doing.
Thank you very much. And to conclude, I'm going to plant a seed. Once we get along with the construction, we'll come back to ask you to help us with the programming costs. There's always the opportunity, resources available somewhere, and we'll cobble it all together to train more people. So when you see us here next time, it will be to ask for some funding opportunities so that we can help get more people trained. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Dr. Sam, we look forward to that opportunity. Yes, Mr. Roth.
One other comment. We had a lunch a week ago with the EDO And this will be a good opportunity for them to help get funding for,
Absolutely,
I
absolutely.
was actually in a past life, I worked for a manufacturer company as the IT person. And they were then 15 years ago, we were investing in robotics and I actually helped them grow from 10 million to 80 million. So
Very
if you
nice.
invest, you can make the money. So
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sam. Oh, yes, yes, sir.
Berman here. You gave Mr. Surges an opportunity to talk about his connection with the Elgin Community College. So I wanted to talk about my connection with both Elgin and Waubonsee.
Go Spartans!
But back 60 years ago, in the beginning of computers and the beginning of the community college system in Illinois, I was an IBM salesman and I sold both Elgin Community College. Dr. Canettle already knows this, but I sold Elgin Community College and Aurora Waubonsee Community College their first computer system to get them started in business education, not only teaching computer programming, but doing their financial accounting and their student accounting. So that's my connection with those, and that's from 56 years ago. So
they're still using them.
Gosh, oh, I hope not. I hope not.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
as long as everybody else is bragging about their connections to ECC, I also went to ECC. Both my kids went to ECC and many of my family members went to ECC. So it's in my heart. So thank you.
Okay, so let's bring Waubonsee into the house now. Thank you.
We are friends, and I just want to take this opportunity, if you don't know, and you probably do, that Dr. Sam is retiring, and he has
Yes.
just a tremendous force in the Illinois Community College world, regionally and nationally as well. And so I thank him for everything that he's done, his mentorship and all of his work. So I just wanted to publicly
Yes.
recognize.
Thank you, Dr. Singh.
So I'm glad Elgin went first. I think they answered a lot of the questions that you might ask for me. You're going to hear a very similar story, slight differences in programming, but a very similar story in terms of the trends and the responsiveness. Thank you for allowing me to be here. I always love talking about Waubonsee Community College. It's nice to see some familiar faces, some new faces. I'm Brian Canettle. I have the honor of being the 5th president of Waubonsee Community College. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about what Waubonsee is doing in the workforce space and how we're responding to some of the same trends that you heard Dr. Sam talk about. There's a 2023 book called America's Hidden Economic Engines: How Community Colleges Can Drive Shared Prosperity. And a lot of us at the college have read or are reading it. And the book is a case study of 5 community colleges that tell the story of what many of us who work in community colleges already know: the power of community colleges to contribute to the regional economy by responding to local workforce needs. At Waubonsee and at Elgin, we prioritize playing a central role in strengthening and expanding pathways to economic mobility through developing an educated workforce. Now, we do this in multiple ways, whether it's through our transfer programs, adult education programs, or through our varied and relevant workforce development programs. And it's the workforce development programs that I'm here to talk to you a little bit about this afternoon. Our ability at Waubonsee to offer state-of-the-art workforce education is linked to having resources, capacity, up-to-date facilities and equipment, and educational resources. Due to a rapidly changing workforce, we have an increased and ongoing need for modernization to stay relevant in our program. And this relevancy is often discovered through industry partnerships and our advisory teams that you heard Elgin talk about just a moment ago. So I'm really excited to share that several of our programs will find a new home in the fall of 2025 with the addition of the Technical Education Center to our Sugar Grove campus. We broke ground on the new building not too long ago, and we are still on schedule. We have a giant hole in our south entrance on the corner of 47 and Waubonsee. But we have broken ground, and this building will position our institution to meet the ongoing and evolving challenge of educating future students in various workforce programs. The new building is an example, like Elgin, of Waubonsee investing to meet expanding demands in existing programs while being flexible enough to respond to future needs. So Wabanzi's new building is a 100,000 square foot, $60 million facility that will house primarily our auto technician program, our auto collision and refinishing program, and our welding program. And it will also have some general classroom spaces and offices and a common space that can serve as a gathering space for hosting industry partners, high school students, and our advisory committees. This will be a state-of-the-art building for these programs, unlike any other in the state. We'll share the welding programs, but our auto tech and auto body programs, we do feel that these will be the most up-to-date facilities. The new building will allow us to offer more cohorts of our programs, and it will also allow us to increase the cohort size, serving more students and meeting more workforce needs. The new spaces are designed to allow for experiential learning, faculty and students working together in environments that mirror what graduates of the program will experience in the workforce. Larger spaces, new technology, and flexible labs will all be features of the new building that will set us up for the future. Now, why are we doing this? Many of the same reasons that you've experienced in your committee and that you've heard from Elgin. We have seen an increase across all of our workforce programs and have seen consistent increases in the programs that will be in this new building. In fact, we would likely even have seen more of an increase, but like Elgin in welding, right now we don't have the capacity to meet the demand in our most popular program, automotive technology. It's a long-standing and well-respected program at Wabanzi, and we have experienced a pinch in enrollment for several years. We just don't have the capacity in the space to meet the demand. In fact, when our enrollment period opens, the classes fill up within minutes, like getting tickets to a Taylor Swift concert. And this leaves students with challenges in keeping the momentum in their programs and leaving them few other choices after that once they are in their program. So meeting this demand is critical, especially when you see projections of nationally 400,000 auto technicians needed over the next several years, 80,000 collision and refinishing technicians, and over 170,000 jobs in diesel. The expansion of the new technical education center will meet these current and future needs. And it is a partnerships with our local high schools that help facilitate driving this interest and enrollment growth. But the new building is more than just about new space. Anytime we build a new building at the college, we talk about what's going on in that building that's also going to be new and different. This new building will allow us to be modern. It will allow us to modernize our programs. And with the continued emergence of electrical vehicles, other vehicle fuels such as hydrogen fuels, the enhanced electronic systems that are in most cars now, these require more training skills, but also lead to more capabilities and more enhanced safety features. We will be able to expand and explore new refinishing technologies and developments in small and mid-size diesel. So these exciting, the excitement that comes with the new building, we are also equally excited about the innovative and new programs that will take place inside the building that will help our students stay ahead of the curve. Successful and our automotive technology program is a successful program. We have received several accolades. The dean who was supposed to join me today right now is in Atlanta, Georgia. We had with the Skills USA competition, we had numerous students qualify for the national skills competition, Skills USA, which is the national workforce development organization for students that promotes career readiness across all CTE fields. And we had students in our auto body and our auto technician qualify. So we're meeting needs, we're increasing our needs, and we are producing successful graduates of the program. And you heard a similar story from Elgin. Wabanzi is always looking to the future. And so as excited as we are about this new building, and we're very excited, we'll welcome you all to the ribbon cutting. There will be opportunities with the vacated spaces. So this is a new building. So as you heard with Elgin, we are taking programs in existing buildings, moving them into this. So it gives us vacated spaces to continue to respond to needs by expanding or modernizing existing programs or create new programs. We will continue to listen to our community and our workforce, since we are currently hearing interest in the trades, advanced manufacturing, and robotics. And we are currently exploring programs in aviation technician and wastewater management treatment. So the key for us and for all of us is to stay connected, stay informed, and collaborate with all of our partners to not only develop, respond to, but to validate more workforce programs that are tailored to meet the specific needs of our regional economy. So I thank you for your time, and I'm happy to answer any questions that Elgin hasn't already answered.
Okay, so Ms. Gomes.
Thank you very much for that. Like my ears perked up when you said aviation technology. That's super important right now. And I just recently read an article that they're doing scholarships and partnering with the colleges. So do you offer that now, and will you? No.
We don't offer that now. We are in the approval processes. So anytime you start a program, especially in health careers or highly accredited programs like in aviation technology, you have to go through a process of different approvals. So we are currently working with the FAA through the Aurora Airport for some of those approvals. So we don't have a firm timeline on when we're going to be able to start answering those, but we are in the curriculum development process and the approval process. Our board has approved us moving forward with that program, so we're well on our way.
That's to follow up. That's very exciting to me because yesterday I landed in Midway, and it was a rough landing. Let me just say that. And then I realized that the kid was like 12. So, but that's what precipitated this research, and the shortage with attrition and all of these things that are happening is going to be detrimental to our travel very soon.
Yes.
So I'm very happy to hear that. And then a really quick story, because everybody's, doting on their.
You must have gone to Waubonsie.
I went to Waubonsie.
All right.
I got a great story for you, and you're gonna have to indulge me. I was in security when I was there, and my very first day on the job, I was in the squad car, and that little trail that goes along 47. On the other side of that trail, there's a pond. And my FTO at the time, who was a Aurora police officer, said, "You're going to have to gun it when you go up the hill in order to get up the hill." Because we were, checking the things. And I almost landed in the pond. So that was my first experience. And then my second experience was Building W, where the auto paint shop was. And it was scary when you were, 19 years old out there doing security at night. It was, and because everybody messed with you. They knew you were out there by yourself. So God bless Waubonsie. I love Waubonsie, everything about Waubonsie. One thing that I haven't heard, but I know you do well, is the diversity aspect of these programs, because, in the aviation field, I learned there's 96% male whites, 92% male. So I'm excited to hear how that all entangles in your new program. Good luck.
Thank you.
Liz.
No, that's fine.
So as we are bringing all these new programs in, are we going to have trouble getting teachers and counselors and all those things?
It always varies on the program. I don't think we would have any problems with counselors, advisors of that sort. Some of the technical and career programs, depending on the high level of specialization, sometimes those are more difficult to hire, but we often find that the most of our success comes from working with our advisory teams, our industry partners. If you're looking for full-time people, a full-time teaching job at a college or a university is a great job. It's a great second job for a lot of people, but they also help us connect to adjunct faculty who could teach some of the specialized courses. So it'll vary with the aviation. We did a lot of that work early on, and we have some of that already, some plans for working through that. But it always depends on both the area and the level of specialization. But oftentimes when there's a demand, there's usually enough professionals in the area who can help you find qualified instructors.
Thank you.
Yeah, Mr. Roth.
Mr. Rother, I'm actually belong to the Air Classics Aviation Museum out at Aurora, and we had acquired 3 military aircraft prior to COVID, and at that time we were working Lewis to help us put them together. It's been on hold. We'd love to work with Waubonsie. You said you don't know when your program. These are really static, so you don't need to be certified to assemble them.
Absolutely.
But it's very good opportunity for students to learn how to put aircraft together.
Great.
So I'll give you my card afterwards.
Perfect.
All right. Thank you.
Mr. Iqbal.
Madam Chair, thank you. I appreciate the presentation, I would digress and ask a different question from the presenter. 3 years back, Waubonsie came and made a presentation about cannabis research. Since then, I haven't heard anything. This is an opportunity for me to ask, what is Waubonsie doing in terms of any development regarding cannabis?
We have no programs. We haven't had any recent discussions about any cannabis programs, whether it's cultivation or dispensary or healthcare related. So I'm not sure. I was not aware those conversations had happened a few years ago. It's certainly a workforce development area that is, if we hear of some of those and that there's a need and a training need, that's certainly something we would explore like any of our other programs. I know Oakton Community College, not in Kane County, but has several programs with cannabis. I'm not sure if there's other local colleges.
I am very much aware of Oakton.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Could you tell us a little bit about the funding? How did you arrive at the?
Very, very similar to Elgin. When I said that, this is a sign of both colleges, but Waubonsie reinvesting half of the $60 million. The college is using their reserves and their savings to pay for out of pocket, and then we're bonding for the other half. And we'll take any money that you don't give to Elgin.
Not only that, Waubonsie Foundation will take any gifts either.
Okay.
Foundation board, so.
Yeah, so similar half and half and half. So this is, we both colleges have boards that are very financially responsible and try to anticipate needs. And so Waubonsie's board was saving up and anticipating, and for those vacated spaces to repurpose very much the same way that Elgin is doing. We are also coming up with a financial strategy to filter funds into those renovations when we finally decide on what those new programs are going to be.
If I may, I have a question. Today I was at Del Nor, and there was a darling little robot that was actually serving patients and doing deliveries back and forth and saying hello to people as you're walking down the hall, which was my encounter with this 5-foot tall robot. It's quite charming. Needed to wear a hat, with nurse's cap or something. I say it's a he, but it may have been a she. I don't know. Are you doing those kinds of robotics so they're reactive to people, or are there machinery robotics?
We are not doing that interactive robotics yet. It is always our role to be out in the community to hear what some of the industries need. It's easy for us to have advisory teams, and it's easy for us to, when somebody comes to us, but we don't always know what's out there and what the needs are that are unique to our community and to our district. And so we're not doing anything with that now. We know that robotic welding, advanced automation have robotic pieces as part of it, but we're not doing the interactive robots of that type yet.
Very
But
sophisticated.
certainly, if there's a need and there's a workforce need for that, I think what you're hearing a lot right now about is two community colleges doing what community colleges do best, being integrated with their community and really responding to those needs.
Okay. Yes, Ms. Strathman.
Ms. Stratton here. I was at the Economic Summit last week. And one of the things we learned was that Illinois is first in the nation in workforce development, which was great. And I can't help but think that King County is well suited to add to those numbers with these schools and what we're about to hear about the high school as well. So it makes me very proud to be a resident here.
I would agree. I would agree. And Ms. Lewis, I once again will charge you with jobs to remain very much in connection with our two colleges so that we can start taking a look at when we have our EDO fully functioning, that we do the reach out and we find out what you're doing and what our potential manufacturers who are already in place and any new ones that are coming in we'll be looking at and keep you constantly in the loop with that. And I do have one more follow-up with that. Agriculture is a big industry here in Kane County, and where you are positioned, and Elgin as well, have your right there. I mean, right there at the edge, and you're in the edge, right in the plane of where agriculture takes place. Are you doing any kind of agricultural research and development with that as well?
I would say we're probably in the research phase of that now. When I first started, July 30th will be a year and a half for me. There were a couple of questions about our agriculture, especially when you think about the western part of our county. Our district has the second largest city in Illinois, but also some of the smallest, most rural counties or areas in the area. So we're in that research I wouldn't say we're quite at the development stage, but again, really trying to decide, if a community college is going to stand up a program, we want to make sure that the demand is there, that we would have, more than 1 or 2 students, because these are investments of resources and time. And there's always partnerships with industry. Again, the aviation program is possible because of our partnerships at the Aurora Airport and with Rev Aviation. So we're not having to build a building and buy all of the equipment. We're going to be partnering with another entity to help with some of that work. So, but we are in that research and exploration stage for sure.
Okay, very good. Mr. Roth, one more time.
Madam Chair, Roth here. You had mentioned robotics. One of the big growth in robotics is AI. And that's one of the fastest growing industries right now within IT and robotics. So, I mean, robots were out in the 80s. When I was at Sears, they had a mail cart that would go around by itself. Now, it was a stupid one. It was on wire and would come off the wire and then go into offices and stuff. But yeah.
Yeah,
It's
this robotic-
exponentially the growth in that area right now.
When he
Are you
started
doing
talking-
anything with AI?
Yeah, I mean, we're looking at AI in a variety of ways. We're looking at AI from a workforce development. What are the careers? What are the avenues that we could provide training in? But we're also looking at how it informs our operations at the college. Are there things that we can use AI and technology for to enhance the human touch that we have, but how can we use that? But also how we can utilize it and integrate it in responsible ways in our teaching and learning practices.
Right.
So we're looking at it in a variety of different
You know,
levels.
one of the biggest concerns with AI is the whole ethics of it, because
Right,
if you don't build in the controls, it's
Yeah. And
gonna be
as you said, it
misused.
changes
Yeah.
so quickly.
Yes, it does.
Indeed.
Thank you.
Dr. Cannell, thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Thank
It
you.
was a pleasure having you here.
Thank
Thank you. So now let's deal with the birth of our students. The nurturing of the young minds so that they can go on and have successful careers in training at our 2 colleges.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for having us today. I'm going to turn it over to Dee Oliver, who is our Assistant Regional Superintendent. She serves on the Workforce Development Board and is also on the Executive Committee for that board. It's been recently that schools have gotten back into what we used to call vocational ed, when we used to have wood shop, automotives, and then we went away from that trend to everybody needs to go to a 4-year college. The cost of those 4-year colleges has grown exponentially and is prohibitive for many now. And there are many vocations that our kids can come out of high school, come out of a community college, and probably have a higher salary than they would if they went to a 4-year university in a different type of program. So our schools now are getting back into the voc ed business and offering many more career ed opportunities. So I'm going to turn it over to Dee, and she's going to tell you all about those.
Thank you, Kathy.
Good afternoon. I'm a former CTE teacher. I was a high school business teacher when I came out of college. So when Madam Chair asked if we would present, I was elated, maybe a little on the dorky side because I did a lot of research. So
We love dorks. Dorks are wonderful.
Okay. So I wanted to take you through kind of the framework of how career and technical ed is in the county and some of the different programs that we have. So we'll talk a little bit about education for employment service region programs, the programs that are located within our school buildings themselves, the program that we run out of our office in partnership with a couple school districts, the Regional Work Experience Cooperative Ed program, and then I just want to touch on the special education transition programs because that's really important work for our children in the county. Oops. You're right. Okay. So education for employment service regions, we're served by 2 in the county. And so this Illinois State Board of Education divides the regions into 46 service regions, primarily based on your community college. So we have 2. In the South, we have Valley Education for Employment System. Most people know it by Valleys, and that's connected to our friends at Waubonsie. And then Northern Kane Regional Vocational System is located in the north in partnership with Elgin Community College. And then I did provide you the ISB website link so you could take a look at what that looks like. So Valley Education for Employment System, as a reminder, is in the South. And it serves 17 school districts, 2 area vocational centers, 1 special education cooperative, as well as Waubonsie Community College. So this covers a 5-county region. That's a pretty large range of services when you think about, the careers that are available in those different areas. They also, the Valleys group provides technical support and coordinates events for school programs and the career center. So really making sure that educators and guidance counselors understand what the latest careers are. They take them on field trips, do those kinds of things. So I provided you the contact information, Cassie Blickham, and then all of the links to both Valleys and then the Fox Valley Career Center. There's a number of different videos that are kind of helpful just to see what they're doing. And it's always great to see photos of kids doing things that engage them in problem-based learning. And so when we look at Valleys, our Kane County school districts are Batavia, East Aurora, Geneva, Caneland, West Aurora, and then our other members are the Fox Valley Career Center and then Waubonsie Community College. And so Valleys does have the Career Center, where in the north, we don't have something that's kind of that in that framework of a career center. But then the school districts also provide career and technical education pathway programs. And then you'll see the other districts that are served outside of King County on that page. So within the Fox Valley Career Center, here are all the different areas that they cover, all the way from automotive technology. Cosmetology is usually one of the big programs. It's, for our students, a really inexpensive way to get that credential. And it's usually very popular all the way through as you start looking at some of the other industry credentials that can be like OSHA 10 certifications, those kinds of things that you can obtain by participating in these programs. And then I wanted to provide you, these are photos from their website. As always, you have to be careful when you provide student photos, but these are provided from the website. These aren't just ripped from the internet. So these are some of the different programs in regards to education, welding, automotive, cosmetology, and EMT. So at the northern end of our county, this is the EFE 110, so Education for Employment. They are a collaboration of our regional school districts. They provide CTE programs through professional development for CTE teachers. They coordinate career exploration and then obviously provide support for the courses that are offered. And then they also manage a network of support for the different programs. Terry Stroh is that point of contact. And then I provided you the link to that website. And they are always looking these programs for people to partner with them to provide job shadowing, internships, any connection that they can make. So Northern Kane EFE serves School District U46 and Community School District 300. Those are large school districts when you think about trying to provide services for them, as well as District 301, St. Charles District 303, and then their partnership with Elgin Community College. As mentioned before, they don't have a centralized career center. But students in this service region may attend a regional program. So you may have kids from District 300 participating in programs at U46. So they have almost like a course sharing program. So these regional programs are veterinary assistant, which is a program they're very excited about. And any of us that have animals know we love our vet techs. So, and that's also an opportunity, obviously, to then advance into becoming maybe a veterinarian after they have an opportunity to experience these veterinary courses in school. And so there's the welding, precision manufacturing, automotive technology, and elementary and secondary education, which we all know that there's a teacher shortage. So we love having these grow your own programs within our schools. And so the Northern Cane is really doing a great job of really setting high rigorous goals for job shadowing, internships, dual credit opportunities, paid work experiences, and then obtaining industry credentials. And we have a former school superintendent from Burlington 301, Central 301, that is partnering with them to really make sure that they're really knocking it out of the park on career and technical ed. And so here's some photos from their program. Okay. All right. So then you look at our next slide, where we talk a little bit about the school-based career and technical ed. So these are the ones that would actually be located in our school districts. So these are run and approved by school boards. And what I'm going to just show you kind of this master list here of the courses. I did provide you this link so that you, if you want to delve in later, you can dig in, but I've also provided a screenshot of what that document looks like. So you'll see that you'll have a list of all the courses that kind of fall under the career technical ed framework, and then where they're located in each school district. And so if you, like, agriculture came up, that's currently only offered in Canelan, but then you could kind of slide down and see all the programs that are located in that school district. So I'll just kind of flip through the
Great list.
Yeah, it's very helpful. And I have to compliment Cassie Blickham from Valley's, who was really instrumental in kind of pulling together this information when she and I had our conversation. So I think it's a great chart, and it's helpful to see what's offered in your school district, but what's offered in the county by program. So the King County ROE has located throughout the county 5 sites for regional safe school programs. And regional safe school programs are programs in lieu of expulsion that kids can attend to avoid dropping out. About 7 or 8 years ago, they came up with the Regional Work Experience Cooperative Ed program, which allows us to have a work-based program within the regional safe school and funding for that. So we have funding to cover programs within the Dream Academy at U46 and the Success Academy at West Aurora. And they have a job coach. The kids go to school part of the day and then either are out doing job shadowing, internships, career counseling. As you can imagine, some of our kids need significant support in soft skills and any kind of that employment, baseline employment skills. And so this has been a great program for our kids, and I'll share some photos of that as well. So on the left, we had a young man that was getting ready to do a job interview at Sherwin-Williams, and he needed assistance with learning how to tie a tie. And so as you can imagine, not all kids need that assistance, but in this program they do. So we try to level set everyone's opportunities. The young lady in the middle is a graduate from the Dream Academy at U46 and worked in a dental office. And then the young man on the right, I believe that's a field trip to the Painters Union. And so just trying to make sure that we give kids correct exploration opportunities within these programs. So I think Pat and I can probably speak to our love of special education. Pat is a former special education director. So these programs are near and dear to our heart. So just a little background. The Illinois state law requires that kids start transition planning at 14 and a half years old. So in their IEP, they need to have plans for life after high school. And so whether in having a career and post-secondary goal is part of their IEP. So services can be found in the schools as well as special education cooperatives. And what you may know is that students with disabilities may remain in their school until they're 22 years of age. And so this young man works at the St. Charles Library at their coffee shop called the Daily Bean. And so I encourage you to stop by. The kids are remarkable and they'll take you through the whole menu. But it's a really great opportunity for our kiddos. So. Got a little heavy. All right. So when you look at some of the ways that we've tried to stay involved with career and technical education, as Pat mentioned, I'm on the Workforce Development Board, but we also issue work permits. And so we have kids that come to our office to obtain work permits. Usually they're non-public schools or homeschool students. We have everything from kids who want to do
Yes, Mr. Caius.
Hello.
Yes. Hello.
Yes, I was trying to get on the meeting. Who's
Well,
this?
the internet is currently down at
Oh, okay.
Kane County. So the Zoom is working, but we can't hear them.
That would explain it. Well, thank you.
Welcome.
Bye now.
Mr. Williams, you're recognized.
I'm about ready to go downstairs and get that beer.
All right, well, turn your mic off if you're going to do it.
I'm signing off. I'll see you guys.
All right, sir. All right, folks, since it didn't come right back up, I would expect it to be a longer problem. I don't know what else to tell you.